Oh boy, Mercedes fans were absolutely gutted after the first race of the season in Bahrain. It was a complete nightmare for them, as Verstappen absolutely dominated the race without breaking a sweat. And if that wasn't enough, even Alonso in his Aston Martin managed to beat Hamilton. To make matters worse, Aston Martin is using Mercedes car parts. What a massive blow to the Mercedes fanbase. But hang on a minute, it seems like Toto has finally seen the light and understands that something drastic needs to be done to the car if they're going to compete with the top teams. The only catch is, can they actually fix everything under the price cap? Mercedes' performance at the Bahrain Grand Prix was sorely disappointing, and Toto Wolff is now singing a different tune. The leader of the team admitted they need to get their act together, and suggested they might have to scrap their car design. Although it appears that Wolff and Lewis Hamilton are singing from the same hymnal regarding the W14 design, it is becoming increasingly apparent that their stubbornness could end in disaster. Despite having a smooth qualifying run, Mercedes only finished in 6th and 7th place, a far cry from the dominance they have shown in recent years. We are super critical of ourselves and what we need to achieve. We are looking at everything to get it right with the concept, said Wolff. Everybody in the engineering team thinks like that, and we just need to get our act together. Toto Wolff's frank analysis of Mercedes' difficulties continued, with the team chief implying that they need a radical new strategy to compete with Red Bull and Ferrari. The team's leader voiced his concerns over the current package and acknowledged the group's need to be totally non-dogmatic and receptive to change. Wolff emphasized the importance of medium and long term, saying that losing any more time in their pursuit of victory is unacceptable. He admitted that it would be difficult to overtake their competitors, but he emphasized the importance of making good choices now to put them in a good position for the future. Mercedes is under intense scrutiny and time is of the essence. While most of Mercedes' rivals have adopted the sidepod design pioneered by Red Bull in 2022, the team has stuck with its original zero-pod layout on the modified W14. After a lackluster Friday, Hamilton voiced his disapproval of the strategy, saying it would be quite hard with the concept we have for Mercedes to catch up to their competitors. Wolff claims that Mercedes needs to get over its pride and admit that its unique approach has been a bust, that the team needs to pivot and establish a new line of development in order to catch up with Red Bull and Ferrari is obvious. Mercedes needs to make a tough call or risk falling further behind in the race. Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff is worried that the team's unique concept may no longer be viable because the car package may not be competitive. Wolff suggests a team rethink is in order after they stubbornly stuck to their zero-pod concept for the reworked W14. Wolff emphasized the importance of making the right choices now to help the team stay competitive in the medium and long term. He admits that even though they were successful in their missions, the stopwatch showed that their downforce was inadequate. The team principal stressed the importance of encouraging an open and non-dogmatic attitude among Mercedes engineers as they deliberate over the best course of action for future development. He is optimistic that the team will still be able to win races this season, but he emphasizes the importance of looking toward the medium and long term when making decisions. Toto Wolff's disappointment following one of the worst days in racing is abundantly obvious. Clearly, the W14 is not fast enough, as Aston Martin and Red Bull are now far ahead of Mercedes. It reminds me of our best years, Wolff laments, where we just put the second on everybody else. That is the benchmark. Wolff thinks a radical approach is necessary for speeding things up. He praises Aston Martin and says they did a great job, but he sees a lot of Mercedes' influence in their design, and that should motivate them to keep improving. Wolff, when asked about Lewis Hamilton's rousing speech to the team, acknowledged Hamilton's leadership, but expressed concern for the toll the unstable car was taking on the 7-time champion. He's been a massive performance contributor, not just in the car, Wolff says of him. Fans of Mercedes may be relieved to hear that the team is identifying the problems, but the cost cap remains a major concern. Sky Sports analyst Ted Kravitz offered some words of wisdom to Mercedes, advising them to take a page from Aston Martin's playbook and implement Red Bull's concept into their own designs. The Silverstone squad has shown that superior vehicle design can make a huge difference, despite sharing an engine with Mercedes. Kravitz stated that last year Mercedes altered their vehicle concept to make it as low as possible. However, this strategy backfired due to porpoising issues. As a result, the entire 2022 season was lost. Mercedes opted for a new design concept this year, which saw them raise the car slightly while keeping the side pods, which they saw as beneficial to aerodynamics. This strategy, however, has proven to be ineffective. After 2.5 years, Mercedes is already considering its third concept, which would mimic Red Bull's strategy like Aston Martin did. Toto Wolff has stated categorically that the power unit, rear suspension and gearbox found in Aston Martin vehicles are in perfect working order. The Aston Martin, as Kravitz points out, is a near-carbon copy of the Red Bull car. For better race starts, thanks to more grip and downforce and overall improved strategy and tyre management, Russell knows a fast car is crucial. However, the Silver Arrows fell short of expectations at the Bahrain Grand Prix. At the end of the race, George Russell addressed how Mercedes can improve in the future. Russell thinks the team may have been too conservative with the design, and as a result, are missing too much performance in terms of downforce. Mercedes, he admitted, has the least amount of bouncing, but they may have taken things a step too far in terms of development. Russell finished 5th and Hamilton 10th on the street circuit in Saudi Arabia last year, so the team will need to get together and figure out what they're doing wrong as they prepare for this year's race. With all their problems, Hamilton even admitted he questioned the team's tyre degradation strategy. He went on to say that the car was just as uncomfortable as it was last year, and that they need to put in a lot of work to increase the downforce. That's when the time will be right, he says, so they have to load up the back and the front to speed up. Hamilton thinks Mercedes' result was too good to be true, especially in the light of Leclerc's DNF, and that they were more like 6th and 8th. He voiced his concern over Aston Martin, Mercedes' customer team, and the fact that Aston Martin owns only half of the car. Their wind tunnel is where they do all of their aero and where they built the car. Therefore, they should be working on it. The 7-time champion has admitted that they are not where they need to be, and that this is not the right car. The only thing he can do is keep working and hope for the best, as the situation is hopeless. Toto Wolff, the team principal for Mercedes, is reportedly in crisis mode, delaying contract talks with Lewis Hamilton. This is due to the team's dismal P5 and P7 finishes, which were a far cry from their podium showing the previous season. Even Mercedes driver George Russell has admitted that Red Bull's performance has been so good that he thinks they might win the championship this year. Even worse, Hamilton and his teammate don't seem to agree on the team's future prospects, adding insult to injury. Well, it's definitely a waiting game at this point to see if Mercedes can actually pull off fixing everything and copying Red Bull's concept in time to give themselves a fighting chance against the top teams. But let's be real, that's a massive undertaking given the restrictions of the price cap. And poor Hamilton, his dream of surpassing Schumacher might just be nothing more than a pipe dream at this point. I mean, he's already pushing 40, and the chances of Mercedes making a comeback this season seem pretty slim. It's a real gut punch. What do you guys think? Can Mercedes pull a clutch move and save the season before it even started? Can Hamilton only dream of a better car, or can they fix it? Toto has a lot of work to do, and he knows that as well. He gambled and he lost. Let us know your opinion in the comments below, and while you're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe.